As a boy mom, one thing I've learned already, my sons are only almost 13 and one is 14. I have learned that you cannot disrespect them. You hear me? You cannot disrespect your sons. Mothers, you cannot disrespect your sons. And let me tell you what that means, because so many of us have that word disrespect confused or just really don't even know what it really means. You can disrespect children. You can disrespect children. Simply means you can dishonor them. You can dishonor who they are as humans. You can dishonor who they are as a person. You can just simply dishonor and not respect their being, who they are, the space they take up. You can disrespect children, okay? But particularly these boys. I'm the oldest of 6 kids, right? And I wasn't really home much when my mother was raising my brothers, right? So for the time that I did have home, my mother's husbands, I think she had two. Yeah, I think it was two. One of the marriages, including my father when he got out of prison. Horrible mistake, but anyway. So I never really seen how they interacted with the boys, how they raised the boys. I don't even think they were even really present with the boys. The first one was a truck driver. He was never there. He was literally a paycheck. Okay, so it was, all the raising was left to my mother, a very young mother at that. She was 23 by the time she had 6 children. Okay. My dad, of course, the worst fucking person to have around your children. Okay. So I never seen men raising boys. And from how I seen my mother raising boys, didn't really get much. I didn't really see much, right? Because I was already out the house by the time those boys were really being raised. Okay. So I never had any real men around me, right? I never seen real men raising boys. Like I didn't have uncles watching them raise their sons. I didn't have that experience, right? So now I'm raising sons and I'm a very in tuned person, right? I could see just how emotional boys and men are, okay? Typically, women are labeled emotional, okay? But humans are emotional in period, okay? We all experience the same range of emotions. Boys are just taught to suppress the emotions that they really need to be expressing, or they're never taught how to properly express them, right? But I'm raising sons, okay? And I can see how easily those feminine emotions turn into masculine suppression, right? I've never, ever made my boys feel like they had to suppress themselves, okay? I've always had an open door policy when it came to expressing themselves. I've always taught them how to express themselves. I've always taught them how to name their emotions and name what they're feeling. That's a big thing with men these days. First of all, they're never even taught to name what the fuck they're feeling, right? Let alone express it. So I'm an in tune person, okay? So I've always been able to look in my boys' faces, and it was easier, of course, as they were younger. I could tell when they were sad, when they were upset, some of those more softer feminine emotions, right? But my oldest, he's 14 now, okay? Hormones changing, baby, okay? And he a Taurus, baby. He a Taurus. Them stubborn motherfuckers, okay? So I've had to really tap into that mommy in me to realize some of that anger that comes out a lot of times is just fear or anxiety or sadness that he doesn't know how to express. Now I've already had many conversations with this boy about himself, telling him about himself, teaching him again about, naming those emotions he may feel in those heightened times. I'll have a conversation like, hey, after shit done calm down, like, hey, was this what you were really feeling? You got all upset, you got all moody and went to get an attitude. Were you really feeling a little bit afraid in that moment, right? I know how to pull that shit out of my sons, right? And they're so comfortable with me at this point that they will be honest. Yeah, all right, Ma, I was a little scared, right? Or I was just so sad, I was upset, right? I have learned, especially with this oldest boy, that you cannot disrespect boys' mothers. You cannot disrespect boys. You cannot talk to them like they ain't shit. You cannot talk to them. You cannot talk down on them. Okay? Now, this is something you shouldn't be doing anyway. Your girl child, boy child. But with these boys, Okay? Their pride, their ego, that shit is very, very, very touchy. That shit is vulnerable and sensitive. Okay? You cannot be disrespectful to your sons. You have to speak to them with integrity. You have to speak to them with respect. Don't be all up in their motherfucking face, nigga. You ain't you the first motherfucking bully this boy done had, and he ain't even had a first girlfriend yet. And this is how you're talking to your son. That boy is going to become a man. And this is how you're talking to him. You are disrespecting your sons. Y'all gotta cut that shit out. Y'all gotta cut that shit out. You cannot talk to your sons like they ain't shit and expect them to feel respected. You are the first woman to disrespect your son. You. So now they're looking at other women. They're gonna probably, number one, naturally attract women who are disrespectful because that's all they know. And number two, they're now building up this wall here because they have never been talked to and treated with respect from their own mothers. You have got to be careful how you speak and deal with your sons, especially black mothers, Okay, we already get a bad rap of being, argumentative and combative and all this, that, and the third, even though that's not all of us, okay? It's not even majority of us, okay? It's a certain group of us. And they even have the reason as to why they're there that way, but I'm not going to get into that. It's another video. But we have got to do better with how we are talking to our sons, okay? Especially in them teenage years, all right? Because the hormones are changing. They are feeling and going through things they have never experienced. And they need to be able to have you tempered, okay? And they're going to push you. That's their job, okay? That is their job to push you so you can teach them. They're teaching moments. It's not a moment for you to fucking spaz out on them like the world will. We got to do better. Black mothers, we have to do better and not disrespecting our sons, our boys, because they're going to grow into men. And they're going to see your fucking face in every female because you disrespected him. You didn't treat him with respect. You didn't speak to him respectfully. You cannot talk to your sons crazy. You just can't. And I can see that in raising them. You cannot do that. I have such a working communication system with my sons that my oldest has flat out told me, Mama, can you please not talk to me that way? I've taught them how to communicate with me. They're not going to be like, all right, man, don't be talking to me like that. No. There's a respectful way to speak to me. And I in turn, I am respectful in speaking to them. But it's so beautiful to see as they're getting older, how they mirror that back to me, the things that I have taught to them. It's a beautiful thing. Stop disrespecting your sons. Stop disrespecting your sons.